ਕੁੱਲ 6 ਵਿਅਕਤੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਇਡੈਂਟੀਫਾਈ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਹਿੰਸਕ ਡਕੈਤੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਕੇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਸਨ। ਝੂਠੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਾਂ ਅਰੇਂਜ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਸਨੈਪਚੈਟ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਇੰਸਟਾਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਹ ਵਿਕਟਮਸ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਭ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਸ ਅਰੇਂਜ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੁੱਟਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ।
ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ 5 ਜਣੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਔਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਂਟਡ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰੀਤਪਾਲ ਕੂਨਰ। ਉਹ ਜੋ ਇੱਕ ਜਣਾ ਵਾਂਟਡ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਪਿਕਚਰਾਂ ਦਿਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਲੋਕ ਹੈ 5 ਜਣੇ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਹੈ ਆ ਕਿਡਨੈਪਿੰਗ, ਵਾਇਲੈਂਟ ਰੌਬਰੀਜ਼ ਪੀਲ ਰੀਜਨ 'ਚ ਤੇ LGBTQ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀ ਸੀਗਾ? ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਤੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਿਊਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾ ਕੇ ਇਨ ਪਰਸਨ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਫਾਲਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸਿਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੁੱਟਣਾ, ਚੋਰੀ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ। घर के अंदर भी और दूजी जगह भी डिफरेंट ट्रिक्स ला के काफ़ी विक्टिम सामने आए हैं और कुछ होर विक्टिम हो सकते हैं। सो पील पुलिस ने 5 जने अरेस्ट किए और प्रीतपाल कूनर हले वांटेड है। सो इन्हां दी जिहड़ी पिक्चर असीं रिलीज़ कर रहे हैं अपनी स्क्रीन ते और सुनते हैं पील पुलिस ने की डिटेल दी है इस रिपोर्ट से।
हाँ जी, सारे 21 डिवीजन क्रिमिनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन ब्यूरो के जांचकार ने कुल 6 व्यक्तियों को आइडेंटिफाई किया है जो कि हिंसक डकैतियां के केस में इनवॉल्व सन। सानू अप्रैल मई 2025 दे विच 3 रिपोर्ट आईयां कि शक्की व्यक्ति सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म राही झूठी प्रॉमिसेस करके उन्होंने मीटिंगां अरेंज करते सीगे ते जो मीटिंगां अरेंज करके वो मिलते सीगे ते उन्होंने फिर उत्थे लुट्टिया जांदा सीगा। जो लुट्टदे सी उस ते नाल नाल उन्होंने वैपन्स की वरतों भी की ते जो अपने विक्टिम सीगे उन्होंने सट्टां चोटां भी वजियां ते उस दे नाल नाल फिर साडे इन्वेस्टिगेटरां ने 2 व्यक्तियों को गिरफ्तार कर लिया सीगा। पर इन्वेस्टिगेशन चलती रही तो उन्होंने 4 होर व्यक्तियों को आइडेंटिफाई किया जो कि इस केस में इनवॉल्व सन। सो हुण तक असी 5 व्यक्तियों को गिरफ्तार करके चार्ज कर दिता है किडनैपिंग और रॉबरी रिलेटेड केसेस दे विच ते एक व्यक्ति हजे भी वांटेड है 20 साला प्रीतपाल सिंह जिस के उत्ते भी सेम रॉबरी और किडनैपिंग के पासे लगाए जाएंगे। अगर तुहाडे कोई भी जानकारी है प्रीतपाल बारे तो सानू प्लीज़ कॉन्टैक्ट करो। हाँ जी, असीं विक्टिम की आइडेंटिटी प्रोटैक्ट करने लई बहुत ही घट इन्फॉर्मेशन रिलीज़ कर रहे हैं बट मल्टीपल विक्टिम्स फॉरवर्ड आ चुके हैं। पर साडा मनना यह है कि हो सकता है होर भी विक्टिम्स जिन्होंने शायद अजे पुलिस कंप्लेंट या किसी नाल गलबात नहीं की होवे क्योंकि हुंदा है इस मामलों में कई बार विक्टिम जज जाते हैं। सो साडी यही अपील है कि अगर तुहाडे नाल कोई है जी घटना वापरी है, अगर तुहानूं कोई जानता है तो प्लीज़ साडी 21 CIB दे जांचकारां नूं जरूर कंटैक्ट करो। हाँ जी, सो की शक्की की करदे सी ये ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म यूज़ करके सोशल मीडिया यूज़ करके जिवें कि आप अजकल स्नैपचैट यूज़ करते हैं जां होर इंस्टाग्राम हैगे ने। सो कोई भी सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म यूज़ करके पहलां ये विक्टिम्स लभ के उन्हां नाल मीटिंग्स अरेंज करते सी ते मीटिंगां फिर जो अरेंज होंदियां सी इन्हां दा कोई एग्जैक्ट लोकेशन नहीं ये अपनी गड्डियां दौरान वन्नां दौरान किते भी एरिया स्कैड्यूल कीतियां जांदियां सीगियां और मीटिंग के दौरान फिर विक्टिम्स नूं शक्की व्यक्तियों वालों कुटमार करके उन्होंने लुੱਟ की जाती सी ते कई घटनावां दे विच उन्होंने guns भी दिखाई victims ਨੂੰ।
I'm here to provide an investigative update and an address to the public surrounding an investigation into some robberies and kidnapping that happened across the region of Peel between April and May of this year. So at a very high level, preliminary, what I can tell you is that we've learned through 3 reports to police of separate robberies and kidnapping incidents in which individuals at some point were robbed at gunpoint. We've since learned that these incidents disproportionately were targeted towards members of the South Asian community, and more specifically members of the South Asian community that also happen to be part of the 2S LGBTQ+ community as well. So some specific vulnerabilities here, and as the investigation unraveled and we learned to better understand the reluctancy of the victims to come forward is how we've come to this information. And it was important for us to be here and address the public that this type of behavior is going on, albeit there is 3 victims reported to police now. We anticipate that there are other victims that have been reluctant to come forward to police, and we're urging and encouraging them to do so. This investigation is still very active and early on in its existence, so there is likely to be more charges and potentially more offenders identified as time goes by. But right now I can say that we have 6 individuals, 5 in custody, 1 with a warrant, all between the ages of 16 to 31. And so with that, I'll take some questions and answer them to the best that I can.
So were they posting personal ads, or how were they luring?
So the method has been through the use of social media platforms. The most prevalent one that we identified was Snapchat. But we're obviously very open to the idea that this exists on other platforms via other means as well, is the importance of us being here and telling the public that maybe trying to network with people and understanding the specific vulnerabilities, members of the 2S LGBTQ+ community that might be wishing to be discreet, or they're still in the closet and looking for a safe place to network, to understand that there's risks, there are bad actors out there looking to exploit them.
And where were they luring them to?
Individual locations were specific to the individual victim. So what was happening was there was some sort of initiation into communication between the victims and the accused parties, and they were at some point networking and agreeing to a location to meet. There doesn't seem to be any significance in the location. They're all different, but what's of significance here is the means by which these individuals are talking, and the false pretenses of meeting for either social networking or something of an intimate nature.
And then they were forcing them, some of the kidnapping part of it. How's that?
So part of it is nuanced, that we have to be a little bit intentionally vague in the situation that there are other accused persons that we're looking into. So some sort of communications happening beforehand, an arrangement to meet up at another location is being had, and then the victims either getting into an accused vehicle or accused getting into their vehicle and forcefully being taken to another location. Every single day, people network with people via social media apps without any instances, with any issues whatsoever. This is certainly not common, but it is there, and it is a risk. And the members of our community, particularly those that are trying to be discreet, are still closeted for whatever reason that may be, are at a disproportionate risk here. So we're trying to advise the public to understand that this is happening. We don't know how many victims are out there that have been subjected to this and may be concerned to come forward, but just know that it is an issue that we have identified, and a particular group is most vulnerable. And so with that, like anything with our safety messaging, is to please ensure that you do your best to inform someone in your life what you're doing. Try to meet up in more public locations, and if anything feels off with your instincts in these moments, trust your instincts and move on. In this case, we've got accused that are portraying themselves as members of the 2S LGBTQ+ community to create that sense of trust and comfort for these victims. That's obviously concerning, because there are genuine people out there, part of these communities, that are looking to network without nefarious intentions. So it's just something to be aware of in your messaging, and it's an opportunity to alter your tactics, sort of say, in the way you communicate with individuals, and understand and maybe check off a few extra safety boxes before you finally arrange to meet somebody. So right now, as it pertains to the region of Peel, we have 3 victims that have come forward to us. Right, definitely, as we've worked simultaneously with ongoing issues with extortion in our region, it's certainly not lost on us. We haven't seen any direct correlation to what we've seen in prior extortion-related investigations here. It's certainly of mind of investigators to see if there's a nexus. If there is, it's a different group of individuals. Peel Police, we work strongly within our South Asian communities. We have the South Asian Collective Engagement Committee, and that allows us to be very involved, inside the community, and understand what their specific vulnerabilities are. So it's not something like, we can say quite confidently that these are independent incidents. Whether or not there's a correlation to other extortion tactics we've seen is still ongoing.
Why do you believe there are more suspects?
when we arrested the first two individuals, like any investigation, we continued on and we started to identify more. So it's not to say that we know definitively that there are more, but whenever you see a network of individuals, oftentimes, whether it be directly or indirectly involved, that network is usually larger than what it seems at the forefront. So we don't know for certain yet that there are more, but we're really open to the idea that there might be. But we are pretty confident that if they've done it to these three individuals, the victims that have come forward, and again, I'll commend them for their courage in doing so, there may be others that are hesitant to come forward, and we want to reiterate that we're going to provide a safe environment for victims to come forward and report to us and protect their identity and their well-being at full cost. Well, again, I don't really want to comment too much on that separate investigation as it relates to this one. We're not aware of any connection to Bishnoi, and so we can say that confidently. If something comes up to that effect later, we'll let you know for sure. No, the only information that I'm able to provide at this point is we've got 6 individuals between the age of 16 and 31. Their immigration status in the country, why they're here, it's not something we're prepared to release at this point. You know, obviously, we have to foster an environment where we want victims to come forward. And this is a particularly vulnerable group of victims. And so to protect them, we're not going to go into any further details on their age.